There we go. What's up, everybody? My name's Charlie Bruno, and this is a podcast called Going For It. Today, we have my boys in a Philadelphia band called Goalkeeper. We got Cody and we got Mark here to hang out and drink some beers. And tell me, what's going on, fellas?
Not too much to jump in because we're drinking Cape May.
Okay, love it.
Yeah.
We got the yings going.
Oh,
we
yes.
have those. This one's called Bay Days, which is cherry lime.
Interesting. I'm usually not a guy that likes fruitier beers and stuff. But when I was hanging out with Chuck all the time, he would have me drink like random stouts and things, and that's where I'm like, okay,
Chuck seems like a stout guy.
Yeah.
You don't like he's either a natty light or like the best stout you can find. Like really this is my adult chocolate milk.
Right.
That's exactly every time I think of it because I see it. It's so dark and so thick. It's just like there's no way I can have more than one of these.
And we have the benefit of having someone like Ryan in our band who is that stereotypical like beach beer snob.
Okay, cool.
He's like, oh, this is a sessionable sour, which means like you're supposed to be able to crush a lot of them and not get too fucked up.
Dude, yeah. So you're gonna love Trevor, who's been playing drums in Floor Space, is the same guy. Like the way that he describes beer is so interesting to me because I'm just like, I've never heard anyone describe this at all. Like he's like, this is for like putting on this type of record, and I'm like, all right.
I got thought of that guy.
Yeah, it seems like what he's talking about. That fine line between having beer as a hobby and alcoholism is so almost transparent. But
yeah, totally, absolutely. Well, hey, how is band stuff going? I listened to your new song Sooner earlier today, and it was crazy for me because you guys played with Alkaline Trio this past summer, like the day after we played with you, or like that same weekend.
Yeah.
And this immediately when I listened to this single, it sounds like it could be on like My Shame Is True or something. You know what I mean? Like it definitely sounds like kind of last decade or so of Alec, but it's also very Philly sounding, which I love.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome because I feel like we've been getting a lot of different comparisons. Like that's the first time we got that, like the Alkaline Trio, but meets like in a Philly style.
Yeah.
Which in reality, like the song was inspired by the Menzingers. Like we've been listening to a lot of Menzingers, especially like After the Party and
Hello
Exile, a lot of Gaslight Anthem and stuff. And so we wanted to be pop punk, but like not be like just stereotypical pop punk.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've been getting a lot of like, this brings me back to like So Long Astoria from the Ataris.
Totally.
I think Ryan had said it best when he said it kind of sounds like if the Menzingers wrote Ocean Avenue.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that works too. It's definitely, I was hearing like 2013 Alkaline and then definitely like After the Party and everything. Mm-hmm. And that rocks because I listened to that record way too much.
Thank you. Thank you for the kind words about the song. But as far as the band goes, we're just plugging on along. There's more stuff obviously coming out. You know, you can imagine if we just wrote and put out one single and just like have nothing else planned after that.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know as far as how we have things for touring.
Yeah. No, I mean, just like, the drill, put out a song, start to tease a new release, like a record, an EP. And then we're working on a nice tour in October. I think it's the first time we're going to hit Texas. Finally.
Wow. Sick.
Yeah.
Well, like Bucky's action.
Well, I mean, Bucky's is like not even Texas anymore. We've hit our trip to Bucky's has been twice in Richmond, Kentucky.
That's so weird for me. I would feel when I experience Bucky's outside of Texas, I'm going to have like a brain meltdown. It's not going to make sense to me.
Well, you didn't experience it in South Carolina when you went to vacation?
No, is it in Myrtle?
No, but there is one in South Carolina, so I didn't know how far off it was from Myrtle.
Oh, okay. I didn't know I didn't know that was even open yet. I thought there's one in Florida now, right?
There is, yeah. Maybe it's a little bit closer to like south of the border, which I know is pretty far from Myrtle. So, but yeah, well, I mean, like we were, like you and me have been talking on the phone a lot, like recently, and like I was explaining to you, is we kind of took our time with really like getting out there with like different cities and touring and stuff.
Sure.
So we're thankful and we've gotten to the point that we can hit a lot of places like the Midwest and like Southeast to kind of financially support us to go to new places like Texas.
Right. That's awesome.
So we've definitely wanted to take it a little bit more slower because, but you know how it is. Like you go out there you go out somewhere like across the country and you're like, okay, I don't even have enough money to get home if something bad happens. Like I hope nothing bad happens.
Yeah, it's a crazy lifestyle, man. I mean, it is this thing that I'm struggling with now is like I've been off the road writing for so long, and then the record came out, and then I had to completely find new people to play the songs with on the road. And so this whole summer has been like we were gonna go out way more, and then I guess I've just been lucky enough that people have still been buying a couple shirts here and there online and everything to keep it going and stuff. But like I'm trying to do the same thing where I only get us to cities that make sense right now.
Yeah.
But because we didn't do shit all summer, I'm literally like, we gotta go everywhere, and I'm like freaking out playing catch up about it, and it's insane, dude. But it seemed like you guys were out with Calling All Captains, right?
Yeah, we did a proper like Midwest into the Northeast run with them. So we started in Chicago, Milwaukee, and then we kind of like worked our way back. And
cool.
That was easily the most successful tour we've ever done. Like that was straight up. Like we really looked at our finances from like the beginning investments to like what we brought in after paying everything out. Actually broke a profit. Had
Amazing.
really good ticket sales for like every show, which was really cool to go. Like because we played Cleveland like 2 times prior. And, there was a lot of people, but I mean, the one was a house show at the Birdhouse. So like people just go to get fucked up and see a show.
Yeah.
And the one was like a bigger venue down the street called like Winchester, which like, was 10 people in a 300 cap room,
Sure.
So it was insane to play the Foundry and literally have like the floor of the stage like filled.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's awesome.
So that was a lot of fun. And like that's kind of like what we're doing now. So it's like, okay, cool. We did this tour. It was really successful. Let's do similar routes to there, but then like let's maybe branch out a little bit because we know we can use these cities to like kind of financially push us to those other places.
Right. What have you guys noticed like differently as far as like heavy tour? Because I'm not gonna lie, I haven't played even really a week's worth of shows. I played about a week's worth of shows since the pandemic happened and everything. What do you guys think about actually heavy touring and booking and everything since everything?
Well, so I would say that for bands at our level, it definitely makes sense to do like at most maybe 2.5, 3 weeks. If you're out there for a month, 2 months on a DIY tour, it's got to be strenuous on you. It's not easy. Obviously,
Oh yeah.
So to make it possible to do it for the rest of the year and beyond that and other things you have to afford, it only makes sense to do it for small times and hit the markets that are good.
Right.
So I mean, like weekenders go a long way too.
Yeah.
We're very lucky. We're positioned in Philly to where like a 6-hour drive can get us to a whole bunch of different markets. So that definitely looks good on our end.
And I think that also creates a little bit of safety because as much as we're pretty removed from the whole like mask mandate or vaccine mandate or shows getting canceled because of COVID, unless the headliner gets sick, which is the only reason, it's still nice to kind of do shows a little closer to home, so you're not like necessarily stuck in Seattle. And like your actually, that's like so. We were supposed to do a run with Cliff Diver. Great people. Can't wait to do something with them again in June. And the night before, we were getting ready to leave for Pittsburgh, and we were going to do Pittsburgh to Oklahoma City with them. We get a call from their agent that they got COVID.
Like all of them?
Well, one of the members got COVID, so they were canceling every date up to Oklahoma City.
Sure.
So of course they said, "Hey, look, you can either cancel the whole tour, or like 3 options: cancel the tour, just stay home, play every date, and just meet us up in Oklahoma City because we feel like we're going to be healthy enough to play that city by that point, or cancel everything and just come out to Oklahoma City because it's going to be their biggest show because it's like basically a hometown thing."
Right.
We ultimately said no because the drives were just a little too much. But literally, if we would have decided to play Oklahoma City or do the tour, Friday night in Kansas before the biggest show, they ended up pulling the plug on Oklahoma City anyway.
Oh, dude, you guys would have been so screwed.
We would have been 25 hours away, hoping to bank like all this finances on that big show to get us home to Philly, just to find out like it's canceled. Just turn around and go home from Kansas.
Oh my god!
So I think that's still always a fear, but because we haven't really been going too far. Even if something gets canceled, we're no farther than maybe 10 or 12 hours away.
Yeah, that's good. I just went through the same type of thing where our Baltimore show on the way back from that United Rud thing in Richmond, Baltimore house show got canceled on the way back, but I had to drive back down the coast to Myrtle Beach the next day anyways. So as the Baltimore show got canceled, I was driving back realizing like there's no way this could have happened. You know, like it was the same type of situation where I was like, thank God that like we would have gotten completely fucked. But
but so there's a few things, but I mean, it's not really too bad, you know. And the thing we've been talking to a lot of bands. I think the bigger bands take it a little bit more seriously because there's a lot more to lose.
Right.
Like so for those who don't know, on this like last record, we got to work with Casey from like the Wonder Years.
Awesome.
And we've been talking to him about some of their tours and stuff, and he was mentioning how there's a lot of pressure on the band like their size, because if they get sick, like it's not just them who can't play a show. It's like all the openers who can't play a gig and they don't get paid, and then the venues lose money, and then there's refunds for tickets. So like there's I think a lot more pressure on the bigger scale, but on a smaller scale, it really hasn't been too bad overall, because I think there's just less restrictions on it.
There was a very bizarre situation that I was in a couple weeks. We played a great house show in Philly and everything, but
the West Philly show, right?
Yeah, they did want us to wear like masks when we were walking around like this house show, and I was like very like, I think we're gonna be all right, guys. Like it was very odd to be the person that was just like, there's not that many people here in Philly. Like I would love for there to be a bazillion people here, but like. Or just kind of hanging out, and so it was funny. But
there was because I know where you guys played. So when my wife used to work at Penn, she used to drive right by that intersection where the house was to go to work every day.
Oh, okay, cool.
And so that's where a lot of the art students live who don't want to live in Philly, like proper, like down by 30th Street, University of the Arts and stuff.
Sure,
makes sense. Yeah, a lot of that indie rock, like art show, like house venue, had been very like wear the mask.
Yeah, it was also it was very funny. They had a door charge and they paid us $7 from the door, which was super awesome.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Yo, that's $7 more you had than walked in there.
That's that punk rock money, dude.
I say all the time, like if you go back and you play Rock Band, one of the most accurate things about Rock Band is like if you play career mode, like after you play like this like sick show, they're like, you just played Chicago, you got $17, and you're like, awesome.
Yo, have you ever played the Milestone in Charlotte?
Yeah.
That place is the first level in Guitar Hero. That's what Ryan always says, and it's right. It absolutely is right.
Yeah. Yep. You might get mugged. We actually had friends get mugged.
Have you ever played Champs in Trenton?
No, I don't think so.
Well, the Championship Bar and Grill in Trenton, New Jersey.
It sounds familiar. I don't know if I've ever been there, though.
It's the same kind of deal where, like, you go past the bar into another room where there's a stage, and in the back wall, there's a woman with a sword, like, slaying a dragon. It's, like, painted on the wall.
Sick.
Love that. I think your first time going there, someone was ripped out of a car and beat up.
Yeah, we were loading in, and I saw this guy literally just pull somebody else out of a car in the middle of Trenton, just beat him up, and then
like
walked away.
Hell yeah! That's sick.
Actually, dude, it wasn't far from the Mill Hill Basement show we played together.
Oh, that's right.
We're playing there again, I think, in a couple weeks.
You actually they're doing shows still?
Yeah, apparently. I think that we need to run the door ourselves, but you know, I'm pretty sure that they're letting it happen or whatever. So
yeah, it was a great little spot.
Yeah, definitely. We're doing like 3 shows with my cousin's girlfriend's house. So
nice.
Yeah.
Have you done with them before yet?
Yeah, I know Pete from like Above the Mendoza and all that stuff, and so we've gone way back.
Yeah,
We just. I mean, I've seen them a bunch.
We just did that AC show with them, though.
Yeah, we did an AC show with like Don't Panic and them and Eternal Boy, and they're just great. Like Andrew, the guitar player, is so nice. I mean, we've known Brian Quirk for so long.
Quirky.
And
that guy was at the house show. I met him for the first time. Yeah.
He is an animal.
He's cool.
He's
and you know Pete Long. Pete's probably one of the most dedicated people to music I've met in a long time. Like, I don't know how much he wants me to air out, but like he straight up quit his corporate job to like pursue music.
No,
like,
I know.
Mm-hmm.
He completely like turned it all around. I've been talking back and forth with him a lot about how in similar situations we are. And this is kind of where I wanted to lead into next. Like, with everything post-pandemic and everything like that, I feel like it weeded out a lot of bands that we're now realizing aren't really trying. Like, I don't want to say weren't trying or whatever, but I feel like there's like a lasting group of bands that have all known each other in this scene for the last like almost decade now.
Yeah.
Do you think there's about to be a final like new wave of like, you know, all of these bands that we've been friends with for so long and like guitar driven music and not just the same 10 pop punk bands that we've been hearing from for a minute now? Like, do you think there's a chance there, or do you think it's just kind of
No, I think we are on the cusp of something new, just because of like pop punk is such a pop culture thing too. Now there's so many people who are a part of it and want a piece of the pie. I think it's almost like impossible to think that like there isn't going to be a new, you know, king pop punk coming through eventually, you know, and not just pop punk either. It's guitar driven music, like you just said. But yeah, I definitely think there's a new wave coming. I think Goalkeeper is probably part of it.
That was awful. You should never say that again.
No, but it's a good answer though. I mean, I think so too. I think that with like you said, I think that pop punk becoming a mainstream thing, and you know, I don't know. I definitely think that Machine Gun Kelly had a huge part to do with that. Being that Tickets to My Downfall record came out when shows weren't happening and everything, and I think that year showed what pop punk bands were actually going to make music, and then this fucking millionaire record that is Travis Barker's making, and all of those artists too. But like, there's this in between moment that I feel like has to happen inevitably, where we're all kind of playing show. You know what I mean? Like, I would love to see Machine Gun Kelly take out a band like, you know, that.
Have you seen Black Bear's new tour?
Exactly. Yeah, with like Heart Attack Man opening up and shit like that.
That's the craziest thing to me. Can you imagine those two types of fans converging?
Yeah.
I think
that's really crazy.
Yeah, and I think on a local level, I think you're going to see a lot of people. I'm going to gas them up, but I think you're going to see a lot of people like the Pete Longs who, you know, even if they're a band prior to pandemic, like broke up, they're going to like be creative and find a new avenue to be like, to find a band, whether it's their own band or joining a band and getting out there and playing. Because I think what the pandemic showed a lot too is it really put a lot of people in a position to kind of challenge like their life in the sense of, oh my God, like my band wasn't big enough to carry me through the pandemic. So I can either quit and just get a real job and like set myself up for financial success, quote unquote, or I can really realize this is my passion and kind of go for it. I know it's not so much of a dichotomy the way I'm saying it, but I feel like that's what I've seen.
Kind of go for it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I said, like I know it's not so much of a dichotomy because there's a lot more thought process into it for some people, but at least from my experience, that's what I've been seeing. Like there are people who prior to the pandemic I thought were going to blow up and eventually get that real tour and do all that shit. Pandemic comes and then you see that they didn't really have that like infrastructure to last.
Right.
And they just broke and you never hear from them again. And then there are people who are coming out of the pandemic, like Brian Quirk, who I mean, he was in a band called Kissing the Klepto. They were a band. They're good. They're fun. A band. But like
they're a band.
He really like push himself into a solo project that some of those songs are really good.
He's got catchy stuff.
You know, so I think we see that a lot too. Like you're gonna really see who the people in like the local scenes who are really not to sound lame about it, but like hungry for it, who are gonna come out and actually try to do something, which is gonna create a whole new group of bands. And then on a more macro sense, we're seeing people like you said, MGK and Black Bear. I mean, now Demi Lovato with her new record.
Yeah, I didn't even know. I was scrolling through Spotify and it said like new pop punk, and it was Demi Lovato, and I was like the picture of it, and I was like, what are we doing?
She's on like the Pop Punk's Not Dead editorial like playlist.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That new song's catchy though. That 29 song is.
Yeah, sure. I hope people are influenced by Black Bear, because I really do value the fact that he's taking a band out like Heart Attack Man.
Right.
Because that's what bands like Newfound Glory and Blink and Pennywise and NoFX, like all those bands did. They got really successful. And Less Than Jake, like they got really successful. And then they took out those bands who were really, really hungry and going for it and needed that platform to grow.
Yeah.
And so I hope, and I feel like Black Bear is one of the few musicians now who we're seeing do that in our scene. So I hope other people who are just as big are going to follow suit and say, hey, there are bands who aren't 10 million monthly listeners who deserve to come out and like are really fucking cool.
Right. That's my biggest thing that I guess I mean with that is like I would love to see a band like Blink take out a band like No Pressure even or something. You know what I mean? Or like,
Well, especially after Mark Hoppus just messed them up on his podcast recently.
Yeah, and like I think something like that happening could open a lot of doors for people in bands like ours, or like even what Turnstile is doing. Like seeing Turnstile open for My Chemical Romance in Austin a couple weeks ago was so cool. Just to be like,
I think they also had a Tiny Desk video. Was it Tiny Desk? Mm-hmm. Is that what it is for NPR?
Yep. Yeah.
Very good. Too.
Yeah, that's crazy. The fact that you can have hardcore music on NPR, like I'll take it.
But the one thing that these bands are also proving that you need to do is you need to be good. Because I feel like there's a lot of bands who just straight up think that they deserve it because they have 100,000 monthly listeners. Like we should be on this tour, but it's like just because Spotify is nice to you and like their playlisting doesn't mean that doesn't mean that you actually put as much into your craft as like a Turnstile does or No Primo or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm very big on being a band that people like, but also being a band's band.
Yes.
Like, I think it's really cool to be a band's band.
We talked about that when Every Time I Die, when they first announced their breakup. Like, they, as big as they were like a band's band.
Totally. 100%.
I always thought Jimmy Eat World is a band's band.
Oh, absolutely a band's band.
If you're in a band, you like Jimmy Eat World.
Yep.
For sure.
Jimmy Eat World is a band that you would think like I grew up like listening to and stuff, but they're a band that I really dove into in the last like 2 years for the first time.
Same.
Yeah.
When we were writing this new record, Nick was really pushing, and Kevin, who's a massive Jimmy Eat World fan, was really pushing a lot of their songs, like not off of just like Americana or Clarity, but like really listen to Futures. Really listen to what was this? What's the record at Casino?
Oh man, it's called
I really just listened to Bleed American and Futures like back to back. Like,
well, right, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
Chase This Light.
Chase This Light. Like if you really listen to that record, it's like there's a lot of just musical genius behind it that you could really use to like help your song stand out.
Totally.
We also saw Jimmy Eat World live together once. We got so drunk, it was awesome.
That sounds fucking great. They're such a good live band too. Any live footage I've seen of them, I'm like, oh my god.
I will say that one of the four horsemen of local music is when a band covers the middle and then doesn't do the solo.
Oh yeah. I've seen it. Trust me, I've seen it. And it's always a bummer. For sure.
My old band.
I get it. It's a daunting solo. It's got a lot going on. But if you're gonna pull it out, you gotta.
It's part of the song, man. You gotta do the solo.
I've seen it with Say It Ain't So too. That one hurts.
That one's not even that hard.
No.
That's like a bend and like a couple other notes. Like, oh man, dude. Yeah, I saw my buddy tweeted the other day. He was like, "You ever just see a cover that's so bad that it like makes your stomach hurt?" And I responded, I was like, "Almost every week." Like,
speaking of Brian Quirk,
oh man, yeah, for real. We saw Brian Quirk's band Kissing the Klepto. The first time we met them, they covered "Sugar We're Going Down," which is also one of the four horsemen's locals.
Of course, yeah.
I don't think they were tuned down at all. I think they were tuned to standard. They just ran it.
You know what? I respect the fuck out of them because they said, "Fuck you. We're gonna play it the way we want to play it." And that's exactly what they did.
Sugar going down in standard because it's super easy to sing.
Worst enemy, but they don't play the solos for that one either.
How could you imagine?
They just play the opening riff.
Here's a good. Have you guys ever seen? I'm gonna roast for a second just because it is one of the funniest videos to me. Have you ever seen the video of Lit like walking past a guy covering My Own Worst Enemy, and they like run up on the stage to like play with him or like surprise him or whatever?
No,
dude. It's so funny because you can so tell the guy playing the song doesn't know who the fuck these guys are. And like, it's one of the, because like, I don't know. Like,
oh, absolutely not. No. If Lit came up to me right now at the front door, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Yeah.
That's so, like, dude, get off my stage. It's our song.
Yeah, you can tell there's a bit of him that's just kind of like, who? And they probably had to have a conversation at the bar afterwards of like, no, we wrote it. And like, I wish there would have been a recording of like the aftermath. Like,
have you ever seen the My Own Worst Enemy video? They were playing like this festival, and it was like the most 40-year-old overweight soccer mom, soccer dad people in the fans, just like doing like this. They played like off time really fast. I'll send that to you. It's just
so sick,
dude. Dude, our buddy Ted fucking put that tour together with Hoobastank, Alien Ant Farm, Lit, and Chris from Atari's.
I mean, that's kind of sick.
Yeah, no. We got to talk about the massive crisis that we have as a nation called Hoobastank.
He thinks it's a bad band name.
It's a horrible band name.
Hoobastank? I mean, yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Is it a good band name?
I mean, look at what they've done. I don't know. I mean,
he also thinks the Red Hot Chili Peppers are a bad band. They're one of the best.
They're a horrible band.
I'm with you there.
Thank you.
I'm with you. It's not that I think they're a bad band. It's just I never understood it. I don't think
you literally can't understand them.
Exactly. Yeah.
We found out that he's really racist around the world.
Yeah.
Wait, explain what?
He tries to sing in a different language, like around the world, and like the whole song's great, and then it's like I know it's true, and instead of actually trying to sing legitimate, I think he's trying to go for Chinese. Like instead of actually trying to sing Chinese, like Mandarin or Cantonese, he just goes ding dang dong dong ding dang. Like straight up, if you listen to the back, like the last verse of the song,
this song has just been played on the radio for years.
No,
and
dude,
years.
it's so. It's just like I know, it's you, ding dang dong dong, ding dang.
Like it does. Like there's no. I don't know how.
Dude, eighth grade Mark thought that was the coolest shit.
He was like,
I mean, yeah, the eighth grader in my brain is loving it right now.
I don't know. When that kind of song gets passed by label executives and
it was like
A&R,
dude. Actually, our buddy Bill, who does like all our photos for us now, he sent us an article. It was from like New Jersey magazine, like prominent, like
yeah.
And we're just like, how have the Chili Peppers not been canceled yet?
And like the article is written by NewJersey.com.
Okay.
Like,
yeah,
an entire state attacking.
I think when you're at that level, dude, it's like it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like
you could shit in a recording booth, put it out for people to listen, and there would be still somebody who says like, Anthony is such a genius. So you hear his shit.
I forget what song it is, but Axl Rose literally fucks his bass player's girlfriend, puts it on a song.
No way.
Yeah.
I'd have to look it up again, but there's a song.
I think they got into an argument or something, and the bassist told Axl like fuck off. And they get back at him. They recorded their cheating session in the booth.
Like it's actually in the live room, and like I forget what song it is, but it's
Put
like
it on record.
It's like in the bridge, and you hear her moaning, and it's him fucking his bass player's girlfriend.
Oh,
and the bass player didn't know it for years.
Bro.
I hate that band. So
what do you even do? How do you even mentally handle? Like genuinely, this has been such a summer, and I've gone through so many things. And like, if that was tacked on to I've genuinely, and it's Axl Rose. Like, it's just like, what do you do? I don't understand.
You try and Move on.
You have a job. And you're like, this is my job. I'm not with this girl anymore.
Yeah. You reinvent yourself rather than reinventing Axl Rose.
Like 4 times platinum.
Yeah.
I think that's on Appetite, right?
I think so. I don't know. I don't like the band.
It was like their biggest record. It was on too, I think.
So, yeah, dude. Holy shit. That guy is he still performing like in a wheelchair?
I don't know if he's on a wheelchair, but they just did a tour with Motley Crue.
Oh god.
Sick. My friend was the driver for that tour.
Okay,
no.
For which band?
For Motley Crue.
What, like the actual band bus or like the crew bus?
The band bus.
No.
So he has stories.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Are they all like in bed by like 10 o'clock?
No.
I'm sure they keep it, I'm sure they keep it real.
I don't know. Tommy, what's his name?
Tommy Lee.
Tommy Lee is showing his dick on Facebook.
Oh, that's right.
Didn't he pulled a dog out of his pants?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you see that? He was like, I'm going to show my wiener. And then like,
he did.
Yeah. It was literally like, he was literally doing the Jonah Hill, ask me about my wiener.
Ask me about?
Great.
That is a great movie.
Movie of our generation.
Great.
I'll take that over American Pie.
Dude, both holidays in that movie. Holiday by Weezer and Holiday by Green Day.
Yeah.
It's true.
Wow.
Weird.
What do you think, and this is an important question for you, Charlie.
Do it.
What is the best Green Day record?
I think that American Idiot is the best album of their career. But as far as me, as someone who loves like pretty much every Green Day album up until like the last
we
one.
We talk about past 21st Century Breakdown.
Yeah.
21st Century Breakdown was the last record they put out, in my eyes.
Yeah, like weird things have happened to that band. But I think that Nimrod is like my favorite. Like it's so weird because I have a heart grenade tattooed on me, and like it's obviously like the reason I got into the band and everything. But when it comes to like 90s Green Day, that is such a crazy record musicianship wise.
17 tracks.
What was was Minority on that one? Or
no, it's on Morning.
It was on Morning.
What you want to talk about is Hitchin' a Ride. That is the best Green Day song.
Dude, so fucking good. Like Insomniac, Nimrod, Warning is such a cool experimental like era for that band, and they all came like so quick after such.
One thing about Insomniac that I've recently learned is that it's so dark because I think Billy Joe heard that like people liked how poppy it was, like how Green Day was so poppy, and they're like, okay, well, if you like punk, you guys see the ugly side of it too. Yeah, they were like writing an ugly Green Day record.
Totally. We're going to put a song like Panic Song on there where it's just like fucking shredding and like crazy shit. And
well, I feel like too for him, like they blew up to the point where they could become experimental because that whole punk rock underground, I mean, everyone talks about how like Nevermind opened up the doors, and even Billy Joe himself will say like Nevermind opened up the door for Green Day.
Yeah.
But like because it was so new and fresh, I feel like it allowed a lot of bands to be more experimental. So he didn't have to just do Dookie 5 times. Like, I feel like a lot of bands maybe today, and even bands like Neck Deep, like they released some really great records, but there's still people who are like, oh, well, I just want another Life's Not Out to Get You record.
Right, which is crazy because when it comes to Neck Deep, I genuinely think that All Distortions Are Intentional record is the best shit they've ever made.
I could not agree with you more, man. That shit hits.
Dude, I Revolve Around You is such a good, or Pushing Daisies with that fucking like country like swing to it at the end.
I think it's just a great example of a band just learning how to mature their sound.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's nothing about that record that doesn't say Neck Deep.
Yeah, it's like it's so polished, and it's such a good like, oh, here's where we are now as a band type thing. Like we can do this now.
And I feel like they're one of the few bands in our scene that aren't just going to like the obvious producers. Like they went into some random house in some random area of the UK and just plugged in and recorded. Very much like Blink did when they did their self-titled record. They just went into a house somewhere.
It's sick.
And like a lot of bands did that. I mean, Foo Fighters have done it multiple times. The Chili Peppers have done it multiple times.
Have you guys listened to a band called The Chats?
Yes. Oh my god.
Dude, you know how hard we pushed to open for them at the Foundry in Philly?
Oh, I wish that would have happened. I would have loved that. That's
fun. We pushed so hard, and they were
that band. They're awesome.
They're so good, man. They're opening up for Guns N' Roses. They're going out. They like just went out or is about to go out with Guns N' Roses.
That's so stupid.
It's insane.
So who is the most like eccentric, just not even eccentric weird, but just like a band that no one would expect Floor Space to tour with that you would absolutely die to do, like do a run.
Like a guilty pleasure.
Not even a guilty pleasure, just like
the Baha Men, probably.
That's a great answer.
Come on.
That's too good of an answer. Fuck off.
Floor Space and the Baha Men sounds like a great time in my life.
I think that sounds like a party every night.
Yeah, I say this because they're the first show I ever went to.
Well, are they really?
Yeah, the first show I ever went to was Baha Men and Aaron Carter. I was 5.
I was going to say my friend went to Aaron Carter for her first show.
Dude, no way.
It was for Music Fest that year.
Dude, leave the man alone. He saw Aaron Carter, right?
And Baha.
But it was okay. So even further, my cousin at the time was working. It was like a Radio Disney event, or like a Radio Disney tour or something. And my cousin was an intern for Radio Disney at the time. So I got to like, as the Baha Men were coming off stage, I got to like kind of like dap them up, and like it was sick. So
dude. It's funny because like they got so connected to Disney, but their Who Let the Dogs Out is literally about ugly women.
Yes,
that's the most,
I think that's a cover.
That's the most G move I've ever like seen.
Dude, unreal. I wear a Who Let the Dogs Out shirt as much as I can.
I was gonna say something like fucking I Set My Friends on Fire, but like that just seems too much of a safe bet after Bob.
I love I Set My Friends on Fire. I think that
they're so good, but I can't imagine. Like, can you imagine a Goalkeeper like singing Sunshine like after like?
That would be sick.
They've taken out bands that are like you guys. You know what I mean? Like it's happened for sure.
I'm trying to think.
What do you guys think has been like your weirdest experience like opening up for bigger artists? Whether it's a band that you like or whether it's just in general.
I would say the first one that comes to mind is Alkaline Trio, because I have some reason to believe that when we played AC Beer Fest, I think they hired like a whole set of clowns to walk around the festival. Because
like sexy clowns, like porn clowns.
Like they hung out behind like where the artists were hanging out. So I feel like there was some connection between Alkaline Trio and these clowns. Because also the workers there, they're like, "Yo, do you see these fucking clowns?" And I was like, "I thought you would know what they're about." And they're like, "No, I have no idea." So
what?
They also hung out with Matt Skiba pretty closely after the show. Like he was like, "Here's my number. My name is Matt, M-A-T-T."
Like M-A-T-T, you had to spell it out.
Literally, like, he's like, "Give me your phone. Here's my number. My name is Matt, M-A-T-T. Type that in so you remember it."
All right, I think I can remember that.
Yeah, so I mean that's something.
Do you think it was like just to add to the vibe of the show?
Yeah,
okay.
I think it's just like, you know what, we are Alkaline Trio, and our vibe is just like general chaos. So how do we just throw that into
all the clowns? I will say, as dolled up and lingerie wearing as they were very nice women.
Very
professional.
Sure.
So they had a great time. They did a great job during the AC Beer Fest.
They
however just didn't expect it. That was not on my bingo sheet for the week.
Yeah, they said nothing in the advance about clowns.
No. It's a good thing I wasn't scared. Tell you what, I got past that fear a long time ago.
Yeah. So. Did you grow up being scared of clowns?
Wasn't overly fond of them. I was just at that right age when it came out, so like I still thought that shit was very possible.
Yes.
So
it was a great movie,
I
guess.
I feel like I'm with Cody on the weird opening thing. Like Alkaline Trio show was like, it was super cool. There was a lot of like behind the scenes stuff that was just like, okay, like pretty typical like production stuff that was like just weird that like happened.
I'm not talking about that.
No, I know. But I don't. You know, like all the bigger shows that we've played, everyone has been genuinely pretty nice. That's kind of the coolest thing. I know we're like, this is like a tangent, but it's really cool about the relationships you make because of touring.
Absolutely.
Like whether it's just the friends you make from the bands you tour with, or like people who are in their cities that you would have never met. We have a really good relationship with that music store who's like fixed our amps before. Like that's fucking awesome.
Right. Yeah.
Like tattoo shops and barbers and you know food spots. Like all throughout the places we've played. Just to be able to call them up and be like, yo, we're coming down to Orlando. Like, can we stop in and get a quick like flash piece tattoo or something? It's like, yeah,
how about that bar next to AMH?
Oh yeah, good spot.
Oh, we know that bar.
The best place to take a shit.
And the best place to take a shit.
It is. Absolutely. I'm not doing the AMH bathroom most of the time. I'll tell you that. So.
Like that, but I feel like because of the pandemic, that was one of the things that like we missed, and we like started to take a look way more seriously now. Like since touring was, the people who are like your friends and coming out to see you are offering us like haircuts or tattoos or guitar repairs, just a place to sleep. We're like, we got to take this shit way more seriously because like these are people who are offering like their time and energy for us.
However, the thing that's more important than the people you meet are the animals you meet. Yeah, the tour pet friends. That's the good stuff.
The tour dogs that you meet.
The tour dogs.
You got Buzz, right? Buzz Lightyear.
I do. He's upstairs sleeping right now. He's a good boy.
You probably hear my dog Smiley click-clacking around here right now.
Love that. Yeah, Buzz is not allowed down here because he will eat items that he should not eat, for sure.
Dude, my little guy, my little dog Tucker, little brown guy, big T-bone, he just slipped a disc in his neck.
No.
Yeah, he jumps off shit all the time, so I think it caught up to him in his old age.
Oh, how old is he?
We estimate between 9 and 10. He was a rescue, so of course you don't really know now. But
he's annoying as hell.
He's not annoying. He's the best dog.
No.
Buzz is 10 now, and it's like crazy.
Is Buzz
He's a Shiba.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I thought so.
Shiba Inu.
That's sick.
He's a good boy for sure. He's crazy though.
That's like your dog.
What'd you say?
That's like your dog, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's like my family's dog, but like he likes me the most for sure. I'm his favorite.
We have the 2 dogs here, but it's my wife's dogs. They're hers.
Yeah, they pick people, man. They're just like
No, without a doubt. My dad, he sits out on a porch, and we have a crazy cat lady that's our neighbor. Mm-hmm. So she always has cats on her porch. And there was just one, this little black and white cat that he fell in love with. And I remember one week it was, Cody, there's a pretty cute kitten next door. Okay. And the next day it was more like, actually, I gave him some snacks. He came over, and then like the next day, he's like, "Oh, actually, I brought the cat
in." Yeah, he's like, "Sorry, it happened."
Yeah, well, I say all that because that cat is now attached to my dad. Like, he sleeps right next to his head every night. He comes down, and he'll talk to me, but not for very long. And then if I don't have any snacks, he leaves me alone. He goes back to my dad. Yep.
They fucking know, man. They pick a person, and they're with that person. It's fucking crazy.
It is nice.
It is. Yeah, animals rock, dude.
Well, they're like the only thing that's gonna love you like so without judgment.
Right. Exactly.
They don't. If you don't have pants on, they don't care.
What about the music industry, Cody? Don't you think that loves you no matter what? Don't you think it's been so kind to us as people?
I think the music industry is
misunderstood.
One,
as a therapist, they're just misunderstood.
Maybe problem child is the best way to describe.
They're the middle child.
Mm-hmm. No love. No love.
Oh man.
The music industry.
You guys are touring in December. Is that like when are you guys? What does the next couple months look like for you guys?
We have October through November, which is like a nice little 2.5, 3 week run. So we actually just announced
we got Fest.
We got Fest again.
Love that.
So we had a really good experience last year, so we're very excited to be invited back to play.
So hopefully that'll go from Fest in Florida. That will take us out to Texas. Mm-hmm. Texas in November is a great idea.
Sick.
I've heard.
And then through the Midwest, like we'll go through like up St. Louis, Chicago, and then we're ending in Pittsburgh. And then December, we actually have just the 2, like around our holiday show like that you guys are playing. We're playing the night before in Baltimore with Driveways and Eternal Boy. And then we're coming up to Philly for our show.
Sick. Driveways. I've never listened to that band. I've been told to.
You have to listen to that band. Like, I wouldn't even say just hang up the phone, call back. They're so good.
Episode's over now. Sorry.
Yeah, right. I've been an advocate for them for a very long time.
Yeah, they were.
Huge into that.
I will admit, I don't think me and Ryan really jumped on the bandwagon, like Cody was, and but they were a band. I mean, that just blew up, got 200,000 plus monthly listeners, millions and millions of streams. We're like, what the fuck? And then we actually did a weekender with it because we always kind of ran in the same circle, much like we keep flying, Force Base and us and Tromboy and shit.
Sure.
And finally, we did a weekender with them in May where we got to actually meet them. And you have these relationships, like like when you play with a band and like that band brings it, you guys bring it. There's just a connection.
Totally.
With each other. And that's exactly how it was. I mean, that's how we feel like how it was like with Drive.
We fell in love with them when we started playing live with them.
Yeah.
But I fell in love with them much before that.
But they're like the most humble dudes. Like they'll go up and rip. They'll play a set in front of 250 kids in New Jersey, like just for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll go and run their own merch.
That's the way to do it, though. That's how you should be always.
They literally have their merch bins in front of the table with the shirts out, and they say, "What size you want? Medium? That's a medium. Just take it."
They're very cool.
That's so sick.
But they're very, very nice, very, very humble, and
also the music is just like it's kind of fresh and new. So basically, it's like I don't want to call it Halloween core, but like the last album they put out was called October Forever, and then like everything around it kind of like has a lot of symmetry or symbolism towards fall and like,
almost like AFI, like that sort of thing.
Yeah, same kind of vibe. Same kind of vibe.
Cool. I was like going to tell you this like tonight or tomorrow, but I kind of relate them to like if you mix Silverstein and Fall Out Boy, like early Fall Out Boy together.
Okay.
It's an interesting comparison.
So very much.
They definitely have the hooks. The hooks are 100% there, and like some things because they use like a lot of trap beats too.
They're grossly Boston.
They are grossly Boston. You hear this man say the word heart?
Hot.
Oh, dude, it's awesome. They have a song called "Are You Afraid of the Dark?"
Are you afraid of the dark?
Love that.
But
there's
that's
nothing that
Tori from Transit right there.
They're a phenomenal band.
Yeah.
I can't recommend them more.
Yeah, we're doing some stuff with them next year too. They're doing it smart. They know they have a really big audience. Like they just played Chicago not too long ago and brought 400 kids themselves. So
awesome.
They're a ripping band.
Yeah, so like for them, it's like we're gonna play an area once a year, and we're just gonna go out on our own time, no label, no agent, just do it ourselves and play in front of our fans. And because like two of them are teachers, and the one guy.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing that pisses me off the most is that these guys are doing it so nonchalantly, also doing it so fucking well. And then, like, to hear them say, they're like, yeah, we just kind of want to play on the weekends.
Like the bass player's a dad of two, or going to be a dad of two in October. And he was just like, yeah, like, this is like dad gets away from the family weekend.
Mm-hmm. And they're such an amazing band.
Dad gets away for the weekend for the family and plays in front of like a collective 3,000 people. I'm kidding.
That's so sick, though. I mean, like, so that was actually kind of where I wanted to go next with this. Is like, do you guys feel like a lot of dudes in bands, like Cody, for example, because you're a counselor, right, Mark?
I am, yes.
And then Cody, is Goalkeeper like your main gig, or like do you have another job that you work when you're not touring?
Yeah, so I'd like to say Goalkeeper is the main, but I have a job at like a mom and pop shop. It's like a sub shop that pays the bills.
Everyday store.
It's like an everyday store.
Sure.
So, but like the guy who runs it, my boss, he used to be in a band, and like he was really close to making it back in like the early 2000s.
Blossoms and shit.
Yeah, he played that kind of shit, and
awesome.
And so he picked family, and then when I told him I was playing in the band, he loves it, and he like lets me go out whenever I need to. But that's the reason why I stay there, because most places you work, you don't have that. You're gonna have to work at like Guitar Center, or you have to be an entrepreneur, or you just have lucky enough you can use your stuff remotely. But
yeah,
Mark just recently started to be able to do his work on the road, which has changed a lot of things for him.
How is that? What is that like counseling people when you're about to play a show?
Because Mark is in the back of the fucking van with like
I think it's great. I make money.
With like a blanket hanging over his head. And like if you turn everything down, you can just hear him go, yeah, so we talked about this before. So, it's so annoying.
It's not bad.
It's good for him. I'm glad you can make money.
Actually, I've been with the same company for 4 years now, and a lot of my clients are pretty much stable. So when I go, and some of my clients have been there before, like our Bad Times Don't Last EP came out with Sunshine and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so even they don't come to shows because of boundaries and stuff like that, but they've like seen like, hey, we're playing this show in front of 20 kids. This is insane. So like, hey, we just played the show in front of like 700 people.
Right.
But yeah, it's not bad. It makes touring a lot easier because paying the bills. You know how it is. Like we talked about this, like the stress of being on the road and coming back to no money.
Yeah.
This is something I recently encountered. I was trying to save money on the last tour. I kept asking bars. I said, if you're gonna give me drink tickets, can I just change the drink tickets for food? And then it's always no.
Yep. Because they'd rather just get your money on the food and everything.
Yep, absolutely. If we could do that, if we could change that verbiage, food tickets. This is what we need. This is what bands actually need. And I'm not asking for much. Just give me some fries.
Right.
Cool.
Well, that's a thing too with like being on the road is like I was listening to an interview with Zach from the band Fiddler, and he was saying that like he was saying like being in a band is the only job where before you do your job that night they're like, here's a bunch of alcohol for you to do your job. And like it is this true thing of like even you trying to like kind of like combat it and be like I'd rather, or like I was in a band with straight edge people for a long time, and like the difference of drink tickets are nothing to that. I remember this is a fest story, so I love drinking PBR, and I was in a band with straight edge people who were just throwing drink tickets at me at fest and everything. So we made a game to just see how many drink tickets I could actually use. Because I had about 30 at my disposal. And I drank so much that I fell asleep in Gainesville and woke up at Epcot. I literally
had such a phenomenal time at our first fest. Ryan, his girlfriend came down to catch the fest as well, so we spent a lot of time with her, which left a lot of time for me and Mark just to do mischievous things.
Sure.
We had a phenomenal time.
Don't take candy from a guy dressed as a banana who gives you a banana candy piece.
Tell me why.
I don't know. I mean, all I know is I don't remember a certain period of time.
Oh no!
He was walking around fest. He walked right like. I'm talking straight out of like a comic book, a cartoon, a movie. This man is on his phone. A sign is coming up. It's coming up. This man smacks his face on the sign. Everybody sees it. And like, dude, what did that guy say?
The one dude was like, "Don't worry, bro. That sign just popped up out of nowhere." But Cody was really messed up too, and he was looking at things. Let's say that way. And our friends, the Lemmywinks from Panama, came up to us and said, pulled us aside and said, Cody, can't be so obvious.
That was cool.
Do you know Gage from Stage Moms, the singer?
No.
So we
I don't know that band at all. Actually, I don't think.
So they just recently broke up. They were bands like West Virginia area, just kind of like heavy pop punk. They were really nice. Gage is cool. He does photos now for bands and goes on tour.
Mark almost hit him.
No, I almost killed him.
Oh.
Because I was really fucked up after the Comeback Kid set. And I saw him, and we were doing a tour with him after the fest. So I was like, oh, Gage, finally, I met you in person. I was like shaking him, like hugging him and pushing him. And like I apparently was pushing him to the street numerous times where a bus, like just like he felt like he's like, I could have felt like the metal across my back with this bus. Yeah. So I almost killed him, Marcus. I almost killed a man.
So we're going back to Fest this year.
Yeah, we got invited back.
And you're gonna try not to kill people and throw everybody in front.
We're gonna succeed this time. Now we're really excited for Fest. We get to play Friday night, which for us is really exciting, just because we get to just enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Sure.
And we're playing Lucy's, which if you remember, it's the best burger food place, and we're playing right at dinner time, so a lot of people will be there. No, seriously, I'm actually fucking excited.
We're playing right when that dinner bell rings.
And then
2 hours. Playing while they eat. They're gonna sit. They're gonna eat. They're gonna watch some Goalkeeper.
Fries and ketchup and decent pop-up.
Yeah.
And then 2 2 hours later is the Menzingers playing on the Impossible Past in full.
That is just awesome. Love that.
Yeah, and then the rest of the weekend, we get to see Comeback Kid, Cliff Diver, Colin Mossy, another Menzinger set, Anti-Flag. Who else was I excited for?
I don't look at the flyer.
Church Girls from Philly. I'm excited to see that.
There's like 300 artists playing, so I just kind of let it take me.
Yeah.
You go to the fest and whatever is in front of you, that's what you watch.
Yeah, see where it takes you, type of thing.
Yep.
For sure.
100%.
Yeah.
Sometimes it leads you to a dude in a banana suit that gives you banana drugs.
I did poppers for the first time too in fest.
Poppers is what? That's just like, isn't that just weed and tobacco in a ball?
No, I think it's something you sniff.
Yeah.
Oh, the like smell it. Yeah. Oh, okay. Got it.
Really big in the LGBTQ community.
Why is that?
That's what I was told.
Really big in the what community?
LGBTQ.
Oh, why?
Apparently it
relaxes your muscles.
Relaxes you.
Oh, nice. All right, I'm learning.
I will say I felt real relaxed during some punk band set.
What a
so we're going back to Fest.
so Fest is going to be awesome this year.
And smart, actually, like, and the smart punk people are super fucking dope. They put us on both their pre-fest shows this year.
Nice.
Well.
Yeah, I love those guys.
Yeah, so we're actually we know Matt kind of, which I know you know Matt more so.
Very well, yeah.
But Jordan is actually our guy who has hooked us up, and
cool.
We played the one pre-fest show last year, and this year I said, hey, like we're gonna play, ideally play fest again. Can we do more? And he's like, absolutely. So he hooked us up for Orlando and Gainesville. So we're like, fucking smart punk, dude. They're the realest guys in the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So, shout out Smart Punk Records for sure.
I think that's basically what the rest of the touring shows look like for 22. But 23 is obviously right on the corner.
Yeah, we're trying to go to Canada for the first time. I think we want to talk to a few bands up that way and do maybe all of Canada, like west to east.
Sure. Yeah, that's hard, but I mean, definitely doable.
Do it in the summer.
There's a couple bands up there we know could do really well each show, which would make it, like, going back to what we said in the beginning of this podcast, is like make it worth it, like financially. Totally.
Yeah. It's a huge thing. That's how a lot of bands don't really factor that in when they're going out on tour,
Yeah. Well,
something that I do now when I see a tour flyer, I look at where like dates, what is in between. Like we played a show where somebody was driving from Atlanta. They had to play our show the next night in Baltimore. Like I will go crazy looking at a tour flyer and just saying, oh my God, there's a 12. And then right after the 12-hour, they have to do a 10-hour?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Because once you do it yourself, once you're the one booking it yourself, you look at other people's and you're like, how did this happen? You know, like that's when you start commenting. You're like, who did this route? Like,
yeah. But I think next year, and we were, again, you and me were talking about this too. Like, if we're gonna go out for a few like longer tours, but doing it with bands that you're friends with that are gonna hustle and people are gonna come out, so it makes it fun. Like, nothing's worse than going out for like 2.5 weeks and every single show is like 15 kids or less who don't give a shit.
Right.
And like this Captain's tour, the House and Home tour that we did in April, like most shows did very, very well. So it's like, okay, like let's go out with these bands who are really cool and also working just as hard, if not harder. Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
And then we get to do like new places. I think we're trying to go West Coast for the first time next year.
Second time.
Well, we played LA once, but like actually doing a proper like West Coast, like up California, Seattle, Denver, stuff like that.
Absolutely, man. Fucking do it for sure.
Yeah. Take it nice and easy and do it smart. Actually, I was like looking at, do you know the band America Part 2?
Yes. Let's actually talk about them for a second. America Part 2 is a band that I like kind of got into just from like booking and stuff like that, and saw that they were playing a bunch of Jersey shows, and those guys fucking rip.
Yep.
Like,
no question about that.
Yeah.
My buddy Sam, who used to work for Diamond Concerts, who booked a lot of like House of Independence and Flemington DIY and stuff like that. He was their drummer for a long time. He just quit and moved to Boulder, so we'll see what they do for drums. But
damn.
I'm not gonna lie, I've been ripping off a lot of their tour routings.
Nice, hey, fuck yeah.
They did like a 2.5, 3 week run to the West Coast without having to do the full US. And I was like, oh, where they started and stopped is like really doable.
Yeah, that's a huge help though when you're booking tours, is just looking at other tours that made it happen and just like taking those venue names and just going that way.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
Well, and I've done that too. I mean, even with like Eternal Boy stuff, Keep Flying stuff, Action Adventure, House and Home, especially like I feel like bands that not so much for us are a little bit more connected to the DIY house show scene.
Yeah, definitely.
Keep Flying was the band, and Hang Tight, where we found out about Yellow House in Richmond.
Sure.
Which was like the only successful Richmond show we've ever had to this point. We played 3, and like that was the only one that had actually had people at. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yellow House was the best. I miss that place a lot.
Rest in peace, but congratulations to Cam and his wife for getting married.
Yeah, I don't think they're done with the house show thing either. I think it'll come back in some way.
It was such a part of their like personality too. But yeah, so I mean, I do that all the time. Just look at bands, like where they're playing, what they're doing, and then just reach out to those places. Whether it's a house show, a DIY space.
It also helps you gauge where, like, if you look at other bands your size and see where they're playing, you're gonna find venues that you'll be able to play as well.
Yeah, like I really want to play Crunch House in Connecticut. I mean, that's like a up and coming, really cool like house show.
The Crunch House. Also,
that's actually good to know because I'm booking at. We'll cut some of this out too, but that's good to know because I am literally booking a Connecticut show right now that has been a pain in the ass.
We keep hearing about this place called the Kill Shed.
Okay.
You heard about that? It's a house venue, but it's in North Jersey.
Sick.
I've heard a lot about it. Seems nice. I think they told me they pay the bands that go through there. They go through there like $1.50 each, like minimum.
I'll take that any day.
That's what I said.
Rest in peace to Fredonia scene.
Why? Because of the strip club.
I reached out to
the what?
The North Pole Strip Club.
Okay.
We didn't play that venue when we played. We played another house.
Sounds kind of cool though.
It was.
I reached out to Dan from Erie Shores, and he said all the house venues and BJs stopped doing shows officially.
BJs stopped doing shows?
Yeah, I was really surprised because Dan would tell us about all the charity stuff that they were doing.
That sucks. Holy shit.
Yeah, because we were during the pandemic, not during the pandemic, like before the pandemic canceled everything. We were supposed to do like a nice 2-week run with mascots from Ohio, and we were playing like the Erie Shores, like the dog charity show at BJ's that always brought out like 300 kids. And the pandemic happened and canceled the show, of course. And I hit him up. I was like, "Hey man, like we want to do something with our friends in Mallory Run from Erie." And I was like, "Yo, we want to get like an Erie, not an Erie, sorry, a Fredonia house show, like proper." He's like, "There's nothing, dude. Everyone moved out and stopped doing shows."
Sucks.
Yeah.
Let's play outside in January.
No. This guy's always trying to go north in January. Talk some sense.
Okay, Strap, you've toured more than both of us combined in 2 lifetimes. Tell me if I'm wrong. You tour in like the northern parts in the winter, like January, February, and the southern parts in the summer because there's less competition.
I always hated touring in the South in the dead of summer and everything.
Yeah,
but
you'll burn your tires up, dude. They'll melt while you're driving.
Yeah, but I mean, it does happen, and you do sometimes like get the craziest of shows because you're the band that's out there and down there in Florida or whatever in July. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, obviously we try to tour better, but I always joke like it just makes more sense to go to like Fargo, North Dakota in January because what other band is out there? Like we're the only show people are gonna get to see.
Right. I've actually never gotten to play the Dakotas in my entire life. Sad.
I don't think you're missing much.
I know, but it's nice to say.
Yeah.
There's only like 7 states that I haven't played.
I was just
I was gonna say, what's the most unique state you've played?
Nebraska.
Oh my
if you
god.
say California, you're canceled.
He's gonna say it's Jersey because it's a Jersey thing, you know.
That's so hard. Dude, I mean, Virginia is such an interesting state in so many ways. I know it's a weird answer, but Virginia, and then I feel also like Texas is just a wild place as far as it's got
Texas.
Yeah, just the way people are in Texas and the way that shows go down and how stoked people are to see live music there and everything, I think is just one of the most unique. And also the fact that Texas is a place that you can go to and tour the entire state, make an entire tour out of just Texas,
Yeah, also Buc-ee's.
And Buc-ee's, yeah, and there's Buc-ee's.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think we've played any weird states because we haven't been out far enough to say we played Kansas or Montana or things like that.
Right.
But the weirdest city we've ever played.
Baltimore. Baltimore is a weird city.
It's just Baltimore.
Baltimore is my least favorite city to play in the entire United States.
Yeah, we
very open about this.
The weirdest city we've ever played was Ford City, PA.
Where is that?
It's an hour north of Pittsburgh, and it's literally this in the mountains country town.
We called it Rainbow Road. You have to drive through.
Yeah.
Because it's basically got no barriers on the sides. Friends tall.
We did the tour of Friends Circle, and they literally played the Mario Kart theme song as they were driving down these dirt paths. Literally, if you took one wrong turn, you were off a cliff in the fucking Appalachian Mountains.
Oh,
and
interesting.
At least you got good Mario music to die to. That's
yeah. We roll up to his house. There's a bonfire, a basement. They have a full spread of food and desserts.
Which is pizza, by the way.
Well, still, but pizza and snack, everything.
Really pretty cool.
A really cool little part of the basement to set up and play shows, which is where this one band who played the Blum Poms or whatever, they practice there. They're a Pittsburgh kind of area band. And we're all right, this is weird. And a bunch of people walked up in John Deere hats and cowboy boots and all this shit. Flannel. It was this is all right, whatever. And band started playing, and we were selling. We did $400 in merch at this house show. It was insane. And then we played our set, and people were going nuts. It was just super excited. And we were talking to them afterwards, yo, where are you guys at? You're so close to Pittsburgh. Why don't you just come to Pittsburgh when we play? Oh, do you think we could come dressed as this coming to Pittsburgh? We're a little bit more conservative up here. We don't want to be ripped apart about by the liberals in Pittsburgh and shit, just trying to enjoy a pop punk show. And I'm all right.
That sucks that that's the world that we're living
in.
Yeah,
dude, it does. And the one dude who was really drunk on Natter Days, that strawberry lemonade. He's you know what, dude? Up here in Ford City, we love three things. We love God, Trump, and pop punk.
Oh my God.
We took their money and we got out of there.
Yeah, what do you even say to that? You just gotta be please buy the merch.
Yeah. Please don't murder me.
And his girlfriend's I'm pregnant, and she's slugging down a beer. And I'm how old are you? She's I'm 17. I'm oh, how old is he? He's I don't know, 30. I'm
yep, that's Pennsylvania for you, baby.
Right. God, punk, and God, Trump, and pop punk is our three favorite things in Ford City, apparently.
Yeah,
but I will say this: I know a lot of people. Anyone who hears this, they're gonna have their feelings about that town, the people, and stuff. But I will say, some of the most supportive, nicest, generous group of people we've ever played a show for.
Yeah, man. Well, that's why you can't. We live in crazy times where it sucks. It really the biggest thing that sucks the most about all of that is that those people feel uncomfortable going to a place like Pittsburgh and not be. You know what I mean? If that's genuinely what they're there to do and watch the show, it's why should anyone be? I don't know.
Yeah. Sometimes saying you have an open mind doesn't mean you have an open mind.
A lot of times in the current pop punk world, that's how it goes, man. It's weird.
Yeah. I mean, we can dive into another 3 hours of politics and how it affects everything. But
yeah.
I think there's a lot of people that have shown if you're just out there to do good by people, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
You're not trying to hurt people or restrict their rights. You're just trying to enjoy the same things they do, and you just have.
Dude, as long as you're trying to throw down.
Yeah, you're trying. Yeah, exactly.
As long as you're trying to throw down, come to the goalkeeper shows.
Plug down some natter days.
Dude, actually, you should have heard this guy. We're on the Philly date of the Calling All Captains tour, and we were getting into the bridge of Black and Blue, which is kind of like a breakdown thing.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys are going crazy in the pit, and they start a fight. So the fight actually breaks out, and Mark, in the middle of it, starts yelling at these two. He's like, "Oh, stop the show." Like, literally puts all the pressure on these two people. He's looking down at them. Also, these guys are huge, 6'4", kind of looking huge-ass motherfuckers.
Right.
Mark is Mark. And he's literally yelling at them like a teacher. It's like, no, we do not do that here. That is not what we do at Goalkeeper shows.
The finger point. I love the finger point.
Like, yelling at him and, like, ends it with, I can trust you two to stop that and not let it happen again, right?
I was trying so hard not to get anyone kicked out.
And Ryan is just at the mic like, I didn't know.
Oh, this was like literally during you guys were playing. I love that.
Yeah, we've never had a fight before, and a lot of people are confused. They're like, you guys don't say about anything aggressive. Like, why is anyone fighting during your set?
Hey, it happens, man.
Yeah, no, it was funny. And
it was absolutely.
And then Ryan was like, guys, the song's called Black and Blue. We don't want you to leave Black and Blue.
So horrible.
You remember Billy Joe Armstrong jumped into the pit, beat up some dude?
How could I forget? Yeah, it's one of my it's one of my favorite videos ever. Where he literally drop kicks the dude. It's fucking insane, dude.
Yeah.
Have you seen the one where
other video is when he screams at the iHeart music board? I think that's what it was.
Yeah, but he was
something about Justin Bieber coming on.
He was like drunk and had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, that was like the night before they checked him into rehab and stuff. But
really?
Yeah, for sure.
When you were in T5, did you guys have any other issues like fights during the set where you had to like cut it off? And
I think maybe like once or twice. Nothing like too crazy. You know, there were definitely more so like a lot of like. Anytime the shows were crazy, there was like, you know, there'd be technical difficulties and stuff like that with like cables getting ripped out or like anything like that. But as far as, like in the crowd fights or something, maybe at festivals that I've played or something like that. But I don't think it's ever gotten so bad that we had to like stop and be like, yeah, you know.
Yeah. So well, I was going to say, I remember when we played together at the Proud Mary's show in Atlantic City, and like the owner's son, I will say rest in peace. He did pass away, unfortunately. Lost his fight to addiction, but he was like yelling at your band because.
Oh, I didn't play that one though.
Yeah, because you did the CKY show, right?
Floor Space was playing with CKY. Yeah.
Yeah, but he was screaming. He was screaming at DJ because DJ was in the band at the time, and JJR. Because they were like, you know, flipping their horns up and it was hitting like the chandelier thing that they had.
I remember them telling me about this. Yeah.
Yeah, and like John, I think at one point just stopped playing and crossed his arms, just like stared at him. And the dude was just like,
"Yep, that sounds about right. That checks out for sure."
Nah, man. It's funny to look back. I know this is like going on like almost fucking 2 hours at this point, but it's funny to like go down.
I think we're only at an hour 18 or whatever, but I'll ask you guys one more question, then we'll wrap it up, and I'll say fake goodbye, and then we can like keep talking to everybody.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's good.
But it's cool to like catch up because I feel like you and me talk all the time, but like it's fucking dope just to see like, you know, kind of like checking it, like, yo, what's been like fucking going on? Like, remember these stories and how about this? Like, because like I don't know why, but the pandemic, I feel like it took like 4 years out of our life, not just a year, but like straight up like half a decade almost.
Oh, I think it mentally took like 10 years off of my life. Like literally, like I think I'm gonna go insane quicker now because of the pandemic. Like in a very serious way.
Take my card, I got you.
Yeah, no, seriously. But
it's interesting to see what happens to people just when they're like have to stay inside. It's so strange to hear about how many bands have broken up or
divorced because they
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Well, there's so many people who felt because like they were sitting inside and they finally had to deal with their partner and like, oh my God,
yep.
Sucks. You know, so it's changed things in so many ways beyond just music, but like also what you were saying about bands breaking up and then you see the bands who have made it through, very resilient. I think you have probably the equal part of bands who have just been started the pandemic.
Totally. Yeah, there's a lot of bands that are coming out of it.
I feel like we can't play a show without somebody saying, "Yeah, we were a pandemic band." You know, we started it in March of 2020. You know,
which
something
is
like
that. Which is honestly very cool. You know, like that's sick.
Yeah, dude. I mean, honestly, if that's the way you spent your time during the pandemic, I mean, that's what we did. We wrote music. Right. You know, so a lot of people did, but it's probably one of the healthier ways to deal with the pandemic.
Absolutely, yeah. I think there's been a lot of really great music that's come out of it for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's one thing that we weren't able to do as a band, unfortunately, because we were so spread out. And now I'm finally getting to a point where I'm making as much music as I possibly can, just because you know.
Which, by the way, we haven't talked about this yet, me and you together. But I love the Floor Space record.
Oh my god, it's
huge fan of it.
It's so good.
I got into more, I call it like thrashy trash punk. When I started listening to music from Fest. Since then, we played it last year. I've gotten into that style, and I feel like Floor Space is just like a very redefined, like melody driven kind of thing, which is big on me. Love melody for me. I'm a huge pop head, so
me too.
I don't know. It sticks out for me.
That's what I was telling you, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was so because I literally compared it to like.
Also, your voice is great for it. Like really I feel like it just fits that style perfectly. Like when I listen to that kind of shit, I want something like Pup, you know. And in small ways, that's kind of what you guys remind me of.
Thank you. I love that band.
I listened to both your records like back to back, and like I remember you said it was like a Facebook post or Instagram or something like that. That it was the best piece of music you felt like you've ever created.
Yeah.
And like comparing the lyrics and the music, I was like, yeah, like the last one was really good, but this was like, yeah, this was fucking good. Like
thanks,
the quality was really good with Nada, and I bump it regularly. That's actually one of the reasons we wanted you on our holiday show, because we're like, yo, Floor Space just fucking kicks. Like we have to have them like on our show.
Fuck yeah, man. Well, we'll be able to do it as like a full band now, which is sick. So, which is what I was definitely hoping for the entire time. But yeah, man. No, so I think it's gonna be fucking fun. I appreciate you having us on it for sure.
Have you ever played the Grape Room?
No.
So it's like an old jazz club.
Okay, sick.
Now it's like a pop. Now it's like a punk. Actually, that Forever Came Calling tour is going there.
Okay, cool.
And it's like it says 185 capacity, but if you count the 75 people who can fit upstairs, type deal.
Got
who
it.
Can't hear the show downstairs because it's like noise proof.
Right.
It is small.
What venue is this?
Great room. It is small. It is compact, and when you get 100 people in there, which we're hoping for, like plus or for a holiday show, it's just mayhem.
Get there early. Parking sucks.
All right, will do for sure.
Yeah,
sounds good.
It's a good time. The staff there is really really nice. We got a really good relationship with a couple of venues in Philly now. Like Comfort Necktie is another one, but Grape Room, we kind of look at it as like Grape Room is like our fun show venue. Like, you know, that's the venue we can have a show that we charge like it's free admission for type deal.
That's awesome.
And a venue like Kung Fu Necktie is more of like this is where the album release happens, or this is where like the big like tour date happens and stuff like that because of like the crew they have.
Sure.
And so we knew for a holiday show like we wanted it at Grape Room, because of the vibe of the place, and we're actually gonna get there early. We're gonna decorate it too, like for Christmas and stuff.
Remind
like that.
me who was on this again? The holiday show.
It's us, Floor Space,
yeah.
House and Home.
Love that.
Sick.
And Cheer Up Dusty.
Nice.
Cool.
We might add a fifth band.
Was it December 3rd?
We might add
What was the date?
December 3rd, Saturday. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
We might. I'm actually. There's one band I kind of want to ask to play if everyone's okay with it. Dr. Feel Okay.
Oh, we just played a house show with them. They're great.
They're very great, and they pull. They're very awesome. They support us nonstop, and I feel like they would be like the perfect opening band for that fucking show.
Yeah, dude, I like that band a lot. I was just like following their shit after that house show.
I think Sean, his old band, played with Keep Flying. Uncle Dan.
Oh yeah, I remember that band.
Yep. So he
I don't
started
know if
this.
he realized that I was the same guy, but
I don't think so. He's I love Sean to death. He's very oblivious.
Have you listened to House Known before and play with them?
Yeah, I love those guys.
I think
they're awesome. Oh, that's right.
Joey's dad fixed your van.
Yes, right? He did. Yeah.
They have a new music video out, and they got me in the beginning saying some dumb quote about like getting the roughness out of my cymbal in like some dumb accent, and then I flip a cymbal and I said like, all I do is hardcore, and I like flip a cymbal.
Sick.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that show's gonna be awesome. Very happy to hear that.
After the tour with them, we knew we wanted them to like come up and do like a proper Philly show too.
Fuck yeah.
Well, it's like what you and me were talking about. It's like, who cares about what numbers each band has or the draw they have? Like, you want to play a show with people you like are excited just to hang with the entire night.
Absolutely.
Almost a show that you could have a house party afterwards. Like, yo, where are we going to hang out? Because this show wasn't long enough for us just to chill and hang.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, that was kind of going to bring me to my final question to you guys before I'll just hit the stop record thing, and then we can keep talking about whatever the fuck. I do need to eat something a little bit, but fucking
yeah. My wife is like texting me. She's like, "I want a party. Let's go."
Yeah. But no, yes. Yeah, so in the next year or so, if you guys could manifest like any bands that you guys want to play with, or anything that's really like a goal marker for Goalkeeper, what do you guys think would be like the biggest thing you guys are trying to accomplish coming up?
I would love to see us on a tour, anything that's full US. But if I were lucky enough to pick, I'd love to do something with Seaway. I think our vibe as our band and like what they do is just something I think connects really well. On lower levels, more achievable maybe. I think I'd love to do more Driveways. They're just an awesome band all together. Yeah. I don't know. For me, that sounds about right. I'd love to see something with Seaway. That's kind of like my answer. I'm thinking about you, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, I think Blink would be great.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
could be cool. Might be fun,
Yeah, could be cool.
Have you heard of them?
Yeah. I hope they have monitors. But I think as Coach was saying, is like something that I feel like could be achievable, but would take a lot of hard work. I mean, like a Between You and Me tour would be really cool.
Sure.
We developed a really good relationship with them, so I'd love to do something with them. Seaway would be great.
Imagine if you just stacked a Philly on top of Philly and you have like Goalkeeper, Grayscale, the Menzingers, Wonder Years.
That's very Philly right there.
Somebody would die from Yingling.
That's too much yo.
That's too much yo.
It's a lot of Johns right there.
A lot of Johns.
There's a lot of Johns in there. You're right.
But yeah, I mean, I think that would be like, I think our biggest goal is just to be, and like we've talked about this, just to be on that official, here's a tour offer, it's full US, it's with a band that's on like a bigger like label or independent or whatever, but like it's a real tour, not just like the DIY tour that we're begging people to play at their place Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Between You and Me would be cool, Seaway, Bearing, stuff like that, Driveways. So I think and you know what? Like, if none of that happens, I think the minimum goal I want to see is us to be able to roll into a city and have a minimum of like 20 kids come out just for Goalkeeper.
Sure.
They hear the record and they're like, I had to come out and see you guys play and buy your merch, and we get to roll into a city and have our own draw. You know,
absolutely.
We've been doing that a little bit. Some cities are bigger than others, and it's funny too. I mean, I'm sure you know this. It's weird in some cities that you draw in and you don't. Like, we draw weirdly well in Chesapeake, Virginia.
Who would have thought? But those are the places that you'll go back to, and those people will be loyal,
Well, they are. I mean, did you see the picture we posted recently with the kid crowd surfing, like the little kid with the headphones?
I think so, yeah.
That was 7-year-old. That was Rainer.
Rainer.
And he, like, his favorite band in the world is Goalkeeper. He thinks Ryan is the best singer on the planet. So, like, during the show, he had like huge headphones on, and he like sat on the stage and just watched us, which was really cool for him. And then during Sunshine, Mark just like looked over at the kid and was like, Oh, come on. Like
he said earlier to me that he always wants to crowd surf, and he doesn't know what to do. So like we got the crowd to crowd surf, and his parents were crying. Like it's like their fucking Christmas photo at this point.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. I love.
But it's funny. Like we'll play Chesapeake, and there'll be 20, 30 people who come out for us screaming our lyrics. I mean, I'm right now, and then we'll go to Richmond and we'll play in collect like less than 7 people in 2 shows.
Yeah, it's weird, man. That's what touring is. And then at some point you kind of break through in an area that you never broke through in from like one show. Whether it's a support show or just that one that ended up being so much cooler than the others.
Yeah. So I think So I mean,
the general vibe is that like next year just full U.S. and like let's say Canada too. Right. I think that's definitely that goal right there is achievable. Hit a full U.S. by the entire year, and also Canada. That's definitely something that's possible.
With the minimum of us, just like I said, being able to say like we went on like however long of a run or a tour, and 15 to 20 kids were there just for us.
Right. Fuck yeah, man. Well, hey, bring Floor Space along for some of the shit.
It's fucking happening. We have to drink in weird places, like you said.
Exactly. That's what it's all about. We got to drink in weird places for sure. Anything else you guys want to plug before I stop this thing?
When's this coming out?
In the next 2 to 3 weeks.
That's fine.
Then make sure you pre-save our new song, Car Wreck. That's out at the end of September.
Pre-save. Link in our bio.
Do it up. Social media, man.
Yeah.
We got the new single Car Wreck coming out. Like I think it's the last Friday of September, so I think the 30th is what it is.
Awesome. Cool. And then December 3rd, we'll be playing Grape Room together, so that'll be sick. Everybody buy tickets to that, please. And go listen to Goalkeeper on Spotify and all of the streaming platforms and stuff. Go to a show. These boys play all the time, and they're doing the tour grind that we are all in the same boat on. And it's a hard grind, but these guys are, worth supporting and everything. So thank you guys so much again for doing this. I appreciate it.
Cheers. Absolutely.
Cheers. I will see you guys very, very soon. This has been Going For It. Thank you guys. Peace.